and welcome to Let's Sip and Talk with Freema on this great Wednesday, you guys. I'm excited just because it's a new week. I hope everybody's been productive, and we have someone special coming on the show. All the way from Germany, I believe, or she's German. I just can't wait. Her accent is very lovely. Can't wait for you guys to hear from her. But remember what I always say: be kind, be kind, be kind. You never know what the next person is going through. So those words do hurt sometimes. So make sure y'all take that in consideration. And without further ado, let's bring on Diana. Hello,
Hi,
how are you?
happy today's day. I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am doing fine. I'm doing fine. First and foremost, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on and share your journey with us and allow us into your life. So we appreciate that. For the ones that may not know you, can you please give us a little background on who we're speaking with today?
Yeah, of course. And thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
So, my name is Diana. I was born and raised in Germany. I am usually a very much of an introvert, and I ended up at the radio, being behind the microphone on the news every morning or afternoon, and a morning show producer as well. And that can happen with people who are usually introvert, but when they work there, they become really a lot of an extrovert as well. And so, yeah, I accidentally ended up at the radio and I loved it. I spent a good time there. And then at one point, I decided that I wanted to move to the other side and become a PR specialist. But journalism is still in me. It's still the investigative part that was so much fun back then. But my goal is to help people to reach their goals. I love merging ecosystem. You come from one side, I come from the other side. We come together, we make you big, and that is the goal because you have your vision, and if your vision gets out there, then you can help more people.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
and that is my vision for everyone else. And so I can help multiple people with visions to get out there,
Mm.
to have their product, their cause known. And by that, you can just, be part of amazing, amazing journeys.
Right, right. So I just want to back up really quickly. Let's see, we have Alan. Give it a strong arm. Hey, Alan, thank you so much for tuning in. Melvin, thank you so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Hello, hello, hello. So, speaking of introvert, because I feel like I'm an introvert, but everybody's like, no, it's not possible. So, how did you transition into? I know you said you like accidentally went into radio, but how was that transition for you? Like, were you nervous? How was that?
Oh, the first time I was super nervous. I was super nervous. I thought I couldn't breathe when I was actually live on air, my first news show.
Mhm.
That was something. But it's like when you work and when you are on a mission,
Mhm.
that is different from the Diana that is going outside to a party and is a private person
Mhm.
and sits in the corner and rather engages in one or two conversations and
Mhm.
doesn't need to be the spotlight of the party. And when I'm working, it's just different because there's a bigger goal, and it's
Right.
not about me, and that makes it so much easier to be an extrovert in that case because I know there's something way bigger out there that needs to be accomplished.
Absolutely. And that's what I say too. Sometimes it's not about the number of people you may reach, but you can reach one person and feel like you did a good deed. You did something great for that day because you just never know what effect you might, have on that individual. So when you advance and you said into PR and everything, like exactly how difficult is it to actually work with all different types of individuals? Whether it's like you said, getting their products out there, or maybe an online show like mine. How are you able to, be able to help each person in a different type of genre per se?
I think there's a challenge in every industry, wherever
Mhm.
you work, how to get help someone, support someone. However,
Mhm.
I'm more of a generalist, and a lot of people say, "Oh, but I want to have someone who's niched." Well, that's great, but that person that is niched looks at your product, at your service in a certain way because they are an expert already. Me coming
Mm-hmm.
in, someone who's
Oh.
not an expert, I ask different questions. But when I learn, okay, this situation needs an expert or needs someone who's in public relations and is very specialized in that field, I reach out and collaborate with others because there's the goal is the client, the goal is to make their cause known, to get it out there, and it's not ego. And I think
Mm.
that is the secret. It's not. I'm I'm fine with myself. I don't need.
Right. Okay, that makes a lot of sense because I couldn't when you said it. I'm like you said, certain niche people work with certain things. They specialize in this, but being a general is like a doctor per se. Some primary care doctors can kind of work with everything. So wow, that's very interesting. And then the whole thing that make it even better is that you're okay with reaching out to someone who may specialize in this area, as opposed to, I don't know if they call it gatekeeping or, just
Right.
not sharing it, like, hey, I have a client, but I have someone else here that could, you could benefit from. A lot of people don't do that. They'll try to work it themselves.
Well, but that's what my time as a radio host taught me too. When I was in
Mhm.
the news, I had to switch. I had 5, 6 different news per show that I needed to present, but I was still not an expert. However, I knew enough to present them and to explain them to the
Right.
audience. But when we were going in depth, one of my co-workers from the different department would come in and then we would have a conversation because
Mhm.
I was not the expert, but he or she was. So they would come in, talk about city council, talk about politics, talk about health, because they were the experts. And that's basically what I learned in journalism. I'm applying to my other career as well. And I'm a journalist. I ask certain questions. When an expert is needed, I ask experts to come in to join the team.
See, that's good. I love it. I love it. And if someone was to need your expertise, would like you, to help them out, how do they contact you? What is your social media handles?
My social media is my name, Diana Lammerts, on Instagram, Facebook, and I'm on LinkedIn as well. And they
Okay.
can always reach out. I'm pretty good at responding. And yeah, and then we can have a brainstorm session. I also help businesses being strategic. For example,
Mm.
I can look at a business and see you are missing this or you're missing that. Not when it comes to numbers, those
Hmm.
are different strategists. I come more from the creative part. And the German in me likes to make things very efficient. So let's say I brainstorm with someone, they say, oh, I have this and this problem. Then I'll ask, okay, have you tried this, and this, and this to rule things out? And then if they say, no, I have not, or I recommend it for someone, hey, you have this business and this business, but both connected on one page, and people are getting confused because they're
Mm.
missing that part. Why don't you separate them? So by those questions and brainstorming, it helps people to look at it from a different perspective.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's always good to look at things from a different perspective so you won't just be in this box. I think a lot of us have a problem with that. And that's one reason I came up with a show to see things in different perspectives. Our way isn't always right. So, hey, sometimes we have to hire someone to help us out. So is there, like, for the little Dianas out there, and I always ask my guests this, that's scared to take on that, to be that radio host or news host or journalist or anything, what advice or motivational words would you give them to tell them, hey, try
Hmm. That's a good question.
it?
At the end of the day, we are all human beings.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, everyone has to fight something, to overcome something, or is working on something. We are constantly growing and healing. So even though some get a mentor, look what they are doing and just get into it. And if you love it, and if it is for you, it will happen.
Right,
I would have
right.
never thought I'm gonna end up in radio. Never, ever. And even my boss, he was like, I'm not, I don't believe you. You are never ever an introvert. So, but I was. So,
Yeah.
and it happens. If you really want something, it happens. The universe makes sure it's gonna happen.
I agree. I agree. As they say, you think about it long enough, you speak about it, it's going to happen eventually.
Don't let people discourage you, and don't let people tell you, oh, this is not how things go, this is different. Sometimes you need to and have integrity. And if that means telling your client this is what can happen, make them aware of it. Don't pretend. And that is something that's a pet peeve of mine. Integrity is huge. Don't tell your client something or keep them in the dark about something. Be transparent so that they can make a conscious decision. If
Right.
you inform them, if you do this, this and this and this can happen. This is my disclaimer. That's what I always say. What you do with the information is, of course, up to you, because
Right.
I like to listen to my clients, which is very important. They need to feel comfortable working with you.
Hmm.
And I always say the best feeling is when I'm wrong.
Okay. What do you mean when you say that?
So basically, because I look at a situation from all perspectives, I also look at it from what can go wrong, right?
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
for example, there was this event where they wanted to raise awareness and had over 1 million balloons rising up into the air. It was a world record. Organic media was there. Everyone loves to have organic media and then you don't have to pay for it.
Right.
So everyone was there and everyone was happy. It was huge and amazing and a total disaster because
Mm.
no one checked the weather report. No one checked that if the wind turns, that the balloons would come down and would go a different direction, and it created a chaos.
Ooh.
And they had bad PR. People got injured, and animal. Eventually, we all know when we let those balloons fly. At one point, one animal might get killed by it.
Mhm.
But no one thought about that.
Right.
Those cases, when I look at things, I look at all of the things, and some call me a Grinch, but the thing is, I'm happy when I'm wrong because then everything went right. Everything went right. And that is the amazing part. There are people that say, like, oh, I don't like to be wrong. I want to be right. Right. But when I'm wrong, everything went
Everything was right.
100% perfectly. And everyone is happy. And I'm happy
Right.
as well.
I definitely understand that. Is there anything that we did not discuss that you want to put out there in the universe? Anything at all?
In general, what I would always do, what I observe now, especially with
Mm.
AI, and I'm
Mm.
part of the Global AI Council, do your research
Yeah.
before you share something, before you comment on something. Do your research. We are we are in times where more and more can be created, realities can be created. We are
Mm.
literally creating realities.
Absolutely.
Make sure it's true.
Yes. I agree. A friend and I were talking. Just was that earlier this week or last week, where social media is big now, followings and everything. And the young lady reported something that was false. It was not true, and she lost hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers. So yes, I couldn't agree with you more. Make sure you do your research before you actually speak on it, comment on it, or whatever. Yeah, that's big.
Because worst case scenario, imagine someone put something out there. It was meant to be a joke or a prank, and then let's say it's regarding a teenager. They are
Mm.
very fragile already. So then the bullying starts, and then it turns out it's not even real. And worst case scenario, we all know what can happen.
Right.
So and it's just and there are websites actually by now that say that do a check. So if you Google
Mm.
that, you can check if something is actually happening or not.
Accurate. Wow. We got everything out here now. See? Well, Diana, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate you. Like I said, I wasn't going to hold you too long. I just wanted to, have you grace us with your presence. So thank you so much for that. Hopefully, we'll definitely do another show, maybe just an open discussion one day or something like that. So I hope you'll be up to it.
Love it, yes.
Well, I thank you so much, Diana, and nice to meet you.
Thank you as well. Have a wonderful day.
You too. And as I always say on Let's Sip and Talk with Freema, peace and love.